It's us.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys. I don't know. We're wearing so much blue today.
We are.
I'm Seth Rudetsky. This is James Wesley.
Hello. Welcome to Stars in the House, a special edition.
A very special episode.
A very special
Isn't that always like where something tragic happens? No, it's actually good.
It actually is a special episode because this is something that's never been done before, as far as I know, and we'll have Adam Feldman come on in a second to talk about it. This is the 85th. It's been going on that long. 85th Annual New York Drama Critics Circle Awards. And as far as I know, they didn't have Wi-Fi and the ability to stream 85 years ago.
Don't assume. Please don't assume. Anyway, I'm Seth. This is James. Stars in the House is something that we do twice a day. Normally, it's kind of interview performance type show, 2 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. Then it stays at Stars in the House.
Right.
And as people watch, they donate. And they donate to the Actors Fund, which, as we always say, is not just for actors. It's for everybody that works in the arts, no matter where you live in America and no matter what you do for the arts. If you're a professional, you can get help from the Actors Fund. You just go to actorsfund.org.
And you can give even during the show tonight at starsinthehouse.com. And just to let you know, so far we've raised, let me put on the glasses to make sure I get the amount
right. And people, $5 is the minimum. I'd say the average is like $30. You can really donate whatever you want. And out of these 6.5 weeks.
Yeah, $253,900 for the Actors Fund.
And that all goes to the Actors Fund.
Oh, Mandy, our dog, is not having it.
Rude.
Yes.
Anywho, so that's it. So Starts in the House, just so you know, we're going to be back tomorrow at 2:00. Don't even know who's booked.
Variety Thursday,
which is so fun. So we have we have a milieu of people doing it. And then Thursday night, who the hell's booked?
We have, it's Throwback Thursday TV.
Oh my God. Glenn Scarpelli, Mindy Cohn.
Mackenzie Phillips, also from One Day at a Time, and Jill from Wayland from the
Love Boat.
Yes.
So we got a lot coming up. Yeah. But let us bring on the lovely Adam Feldman. Here he is. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Adam.
Hello, Seth and James.
Hi, Adam.
You're the chief theater critic for Time Out New York. Am I right?
I am. I'm the chief theater critic and the National Theater and Dance Editor for Time Out.
Oh.
Can you tell us what the Drama Critics Circle Awards are? Because I get wow.
Sorry, the dog is upstaging everyone.
Yeah, tell me
I'll do the interview, Adam.
All right. Hi.
Can you tell everyone what it is?
There are a lot of awards these days, but this is one of the older ones. This award was founded in the 1930s, basically by disgruntled critics as an alternative to the Pulitzer Prize. They were unhappy with who had been winning recently, and they decided who better to choose the best play of the year than the people who saw every play and had strong opinions about them. Critics are frequently disgruntled. That's sort of in our nature, but productively in this case, because they came together, as people like Brooks Atkinson and Robert Benchley of the New Yorker, and so there was a big group of them that came together, and every year they started meeting and awarding Best Play of the Year. And that was 85 years ago. So this is the 85th Annual New York Drama Critics Circle Awards. The Drama Critics Circle is basically an organization that includes the top drama critics from all the major print publications and wire services in the city, except for, as of 30 years ago, the New York Times.
Except for, that's interesting. So
yeah, they changed their interior bylaws.
Are there like nominations, or is it one of those things where it's just winners every year?
No, this is what's nice about it, and I think this is one of the things that makes the ceremony so nice, is that there are no nominees, there's no losers. Everyone, we take a vote, we announce who the winners are, and then a week or two later we have just a reception celebration to come together and honor some of the best work of the year. And it's really a lovely event every year. But the thing is, usually it's a very private event. It's just 100 people in a room. And this is the first time that we've ever done it publicly. I mean, they may have done radio broadcasts of it in the 1940s or something. Okay. I bet they did. But, in the modern era, let's say, this is a first. And it just seemed like, since we were all going to be on video anyway, why not make it public and hopefully raise a little bit of money for the Actors Fund.
So Adam, did the categories change every year, having never been to one? Like, how does it work from year to year?
Well, the categories have changed a little over the years, but basically there's the best play category, which we give every year. Okay. And then there's a best musical category, which we give most years. There's an alternate best play category that we give some years. It's a little confusing, but basically, if the best play is an American play, we can give a best foreign play award. And and then we have a catch-all category called special citations. And that's just everything else. That's revivals, that's designers, it's actors, it's directors, it's theater companies, programs, and that lets us reward other work of exceptional merit in any given year, whatever it might happen to be.
So the actual winners are going to be here tonight, right?
Yes, all of the winners will be here to accept their awards, and we've lined up some really great presenters for them. I try to find presenters who have some connection to the material, so it's a bit more personal. And I don't know what it's going to be tonight. You usually, it's a strange little event, and it's really kind of warm and insular, and people can talk for as long as they want. Usually, there's no orchestra playing anyone off. So that's what it tends to be in real life. I don't know what it's going to be tonight. I guess we're going to see.
There are comments on going the whole time, so you can post the comments throughout it if you'd like.
I can't. I can't see those right now.
Well, just so you know, something very vital was said. Living for the way Seth pronounces milieu. So just be aware.
Adam, I'll make sure that Seth doesn't do this to upstage any of the guests
just
tonight.
Saying,
okay?
I'm just saying. All right, Adam, you're going to take it away. We're going to peace out. So presenting Adam Feldman. Have an amazing time. Congratulations to all winners. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. And thanks so much for having us.
Of course.
Oh, thanks, Ed.
All right. Well, hello. I'm on my own now, so I guess I would like to welcome everyone to the 85th Annual New York Drama Critics Circle Award. Again, this is not usually a public affair. It is usually just downstairs at the Algonquin Hotel, or more recently at Content 54 Below. And it's just a way for critics and artists once a year to kind of come together and move past whatever tensions may exist between our roles sometimes during the year. And just come together in the spirit of community and celebrate some of the year's best year.
Hey, Adam.
Sorry. You were muffled, and sometimes when the person's muffled, if the host comes back on screen, it fixes it. It's just arbitrary. So are you the only one hosting, or is someone else hosting?
I'm the only one. So let's hope that this can work itself out.
You know what? David will do it. I think because
David's on there.
So David will come up on screen. So that happens again. Just a little inside scoop.
Any regular viewers of Stars in the House will know that sometimes that's kind of a quirk of the system. You'll see how strange that's David. He actually is a person, and he may just pop on for a second because it actually fixes that underwater. So Adam,
really quickly, can you go to where it says cam/mic and go to audio, and then under audio, click disable audio processing.
Okay.
Adam, we think we discovered the problem, by the way. Brian Lipton says,
oh, it's the mustache. Darn it. I knew this was a risk going in. I knew the mustache was going to cause trouble.
All right, good luck. So start over, and then we're going to come off.
Yeah. All right, I will begin again with my deeply scripted and prepared remarks. Welcome, everybody, to the 85th Annual New York Drama Critics Circle Awards. These are generally a private affair, as we were just talking about. So I'd like everyone to kind of pretend that we are downstairs at 54 Below, at Feinstein's 54 Below in the theater district. It's one night a year when critics and artists can kind of put aside the tensions that sometimes exist between them, the perceived friction that can sometimes exist, and just come together in the spirit of community and celebration to honor some of the best work in the year that has just passed. Even this season, which has been, as we all know, an abbreviated one. The affair is usually pretty informal. The speakers can talk for as long as they want, and that will also be true tonight. And for the purposes of this evening, I'm just going to try to pretend, and I invite everyone out there to join me in this pretense, that we are all just downstairs in the speakeasy of Feinstein's 54 Below. There are meats and cheeses on the sideboards, and there's a bar up near the bathroom. And ordinarily, let's just also imagine that this room is filled, not just with the critics themselves, but also with the presenters and the recipients of the awards, and everyone else associated with the winning production. So the cast, the producers, the press representatives, and they are all essential to what we do. And I hope that some of them are watching now, and I hope that they know that they are very much included in the spirit of this event today, as all of you are. So without further ado, let us move on to the first award of the evening. As we were just talking about, in addition to the Best Play and Best Musical awards, the Drama Critics Circle gives out what we call special citations to other work of distinction in a given season. And this season, we are giving 3 of them. The first special citation goes to David Byrne for his highly theatrical Broadway concert, American Utopia. You can all applaud at home as well. Joining us to present that award to David Byrne is one of the funniest men in America today. He was the co-star of Broadway's two-man comedy Oh Hello in 2016. He is also a masterful writer and stand-up comedian. He has been a host of Saturday Night Live 3 times. He is a Sondheim mockumentarian, creator of children's specials, and the straight crush of all of my gay friends. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. John Mulaney.
Hello, thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being
here.
here.
All you applauding. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to let the applause at home die down as I imagine it to. It's a pleasure to be here, appearing as a disembodied head on your iPad like goddamn Edward Snowden. And it's a pleasure to be in my guest room. My speech this evening is 45 minutes long. I'm just kidding. I'm going to hold for when I think they're elapsed. This is an honor to present this award to David Byrne and to American Utopia, which is the greatest live show of any kind I've ever seen. I first saw American Utopia when it was on tour at Forest Hill Stadium in Queens, which is a tennis court. They then upgraded to the wonderful Hudson Theater. I then saw American Utopia 7 times, and I was not comped once, but that doesn't matter. The show is especially poignant right now because everything's poignant right now, but also because the show is a story. It tells a story not of David Byrne's autobiographical journey from the rough and tumble Freehold, New Jersey to forming the E Street Band, because that wasn't his life. But it tells a story of moving from isolation to community. The show begins with not only just David Byrne, but David Byrne holding a brain. We're inside his mind, then we're left with the man himself. We then see David join an ensemble of musicians who are not only incredibly musicians, but theatrically, it's the most egalitarian group working together, down to the lighting. Everyone is featured, everyone's personality of the 11-member band truly shines. We then go to a reference to the Dada community. That's a community of people who wanted to be outsiders and think on their own. And then we move into the community of local politics, of registering to vote, and then of kind of a poignant ballad for the nation as a whole. It's a show that begins early on with David Byrne telling us that he once bought a television in order to study how people live. And at the end, we truly believe, and we're immersed in this story of someone like all of us, who hope that the best days are ahead of us for the entire country and for the entire world. A community is created in that show that takes perhaps David Byrne out of himself and takes all of us out of ourselves. As a stand-up comedian, I've always really related to David Byrne's work, most especially American Utopia. It seems as a young man of a certain age, that irony and distance were kind of what I was brined in. And so in songs like Don't Worry About the Government, and in some of the lyrics, which I've found hilarious since the age of 11, like I'll be working, but if you come visit, I'll put down what I'm doing, my friends are important. That's an incredibly straightforward lyric that I laughed at for many years. Seeing it in American Utopia and thinking about it now in isolation, I find it all the more poignant. The show, for me, said, we know irony, we know distance, let's use that, celebrate that, and still come together as a whole. The journey for an audience member in American Utopia is a bit like this. Oh, look, it's David Byrne. Oh, look, he has 11 musicians. Oh, wow, they're all really talented. Oh, wow, they're all dancing. I wish I could get up and dance. Wait, I can get up and dance, but should I? I have a winter coat on. Could I dance with a winter coat on? No, maybe I could put it under my seat. No one else is dancing. I wonder if people are going to dance soon. I have a feeling people are going to dance soon. I wonder who will be first. Maybe it's that guy from Scarsdale who's rocking back and forth so hard he's going to break his neck. Or maybe it's that woman who's kind of half dancing in her seat and keeps saying out loud, why isn't anyone dancing? Eventually, one of those people is going to stand up and dance, right? Or will I have to? Okay, I have to. I'm up, I'm dancing. Oh my God, no one else is dancing. Oh yay, everyone else is dancing. That's a brief window into the sense of isolation and then community that an audience member feels, and you will feel when you see American Utopia. I am sure that we will be back in the theater someday soon, dancing with David Byrne as we move through song after fantastic song. Obscure ones, as well as top 40 hits like Burning Down the House and Bullet. That's a joke. Bullet's a great song, not top 40. In closing, I don't mean to make so much of this about myself, but I have no other choice. But I did want to end with an email that I sent David Byrne after I first saw American Utopia. And I told him that I was especially happy he included the song Glass, Concrete, and Stone in the show, because it had always meant a lot to me. And I said to him, when I was a teenager, that song struck me because it was the first time I ever thought about how my dad would get up early in the morning, go to the airport, and fly on a business trip. Later, as I started traveling for work, the song became about me and my early rises to go out and do my job. David Byrne wrote me back, "Isn't it amazing how so many of my songs are about you?" Well, they're about all of us, and they're about David Byrne, and they're all in American Utopia. It is a fantastic show, and it has brought me a lot of joy. It is an honor, David, to present you with this special citation for American Utopia.
Hey, thank you, John. That was very, very, very flattering and very, very moving, and kind of spot on. And John's right. There was one night in particular I remember where I could see John in the audience, and he was one of the first to stand up and start dancing, and obviously thinking, am I going to be left all alone here? Am I going to be the only one doing this? And I think, John, you told me that you asked someone sitting next to you, if I get up, will you get up also?
I always ask the people behind me, yeah.
Yes, and I think they did. They all did. So it kind of, there's always a cascade. Wow. This citation is very flattering. It's very exciting. Of course, everybody's going to say this. It's hard to imagine what the old world was like now that we're in a new world. And someday we'll be in an even newer world where we'll have learned things and we will recapture some of what we used to be, and we'll become something better and different in this newer world, which is, we're all looking forward to that and wondering, when is that going to happen? But it will. I'm sure it will. As I'm sure a lot of people on this show will say, doing a show like this, any show, is a big collaboration. The choreographers like Annie B. Parsons, and the help we got from Alex Timbers, and the producers, and the whole band, this amazing band, Rob Sinclair, who did all the lighting. It doesn't all come from me. I may have guided it somewhat, but it's very much a collaboration, which is a part of the fun of it. Anyway, this is a really flattering and very exciting thing to be acknowledged in this way. And thank you all. And thank you all you critics. Thank you, John.
And we're back. Thank you so much, David, and congratulations on a beautiful, beautiful show. We're moving now to our second special citation. And that citation is a rare accolade for an individual actor, and it goes this year to the superbly soulful Deirdre O'Connell for her career excellence in a wide variety of roles, including this year her astonishing turn in Lucas Nath's Dana H. To present that award is the first person I thought of when I was looking for someone to fill this particular slot. Not only is she a longtime friend and co-star of Deirdre O'Connell's, she is also a wonderful writer and performer in her own right, most recently in the Broadway hit What the Constitution Means to Me, which we awarded at last year's ceremony. I had really hoped to have her be a presenter live, but when I asked her to present this award, it turned out she was not going to be able to make it because, well, she had a pretty good excuse. She was going to be in the hospital this week giving birth to twins. And that seemed like a pretty good doctor's note to me. I mean, if it was just one baby, twins, you know. So we bent the rules a bit, and she pre-recorded this message to present the special citation. Ladies and gentlemen, and others, I give you Ms. Heidi Schreck.
Hi, good evening. I'm so honored to be here tonight to introduce the great Deirdre O'Connell. I wish I were here live. The only reason I'm not is because I'm about to give birth in like seconds. And by the time you're watching this, I will be in a hospital, hopefully recovering well on a lot of painkillers. I first met Deirdre O'Connell in 2008 at a reading of Annie Baker's Circle Mirror Transformation. I remember I was pretty intimidated going in because I had seen her work on stage. I also knew she had worked with my playwriting heroes, Maria Irene Fornes, Sam Shepard, Susan Laurie Parks, Big Dance Theater. But I remember sitting at the table with her. As soon as she started reading, I remember thinking, oh my God, she is playing this game on a whole other level. She is channeling from some unbelievably deep well of truth. And now I'm supposed to talk back to her, and I'm terrified. I have no idea how I'm going to meet this woman, how I'm going to meet her, where she's coming from. I think that everyone here tonight who has seen Deirdre on stage knows what I'm talking about. She brings both a ferocious intellect and a sometimes frightening depth of feeling to every character she inhabits. She's unpredictable, surprising, deep, rigorous. Every word coming out of her comes from a place of truth. She always looks beyond the most obvious choice. She never settles for the easy take, the straightforward path. She's desperate to know what's underneath and behind and within, and she really won't ever stop looking for more. She can play a monster and convince you that there's an angel living inside. She can reveal the monster living inside the angel. When you cast Deirdre, you know that you're getting a performance that is inimitable. Every character she plays is a volcano of contradictory impulses, just like, like a real human being.
This video required uploading.
I've had the pleasure of watching her now for many years, and I will say that the shimmering, impossible performance she gives in Dana H feels like a culmination of her tremendous gifts. The precision of craft she brings to this part, the intellectual rigor, her emotional honesty, her undeniable sexuality, her refusal ever to reduce herself or her character to the role of victim, and then the inexplicable thing she always does, which is somehow to make space for the mysterious to come through. After that first reading, I was lucky to spend a full year performing with Deirdre 8 times a week, first in Circle Mirror at Playwrights, and then on the road in Berkeley and Los Angeles in Lisa Krohn's In the Wake. I really believe that being on stage with her for nearly a year was the best acting education I ever got. The philosopher and mystic Simone Weil said, attention taken to its highest degree is the same thing as prayer. It presupposes faith and love. Absolutely unmixed attention is prayer. I think that what Deirdre does on stage every night is a form of prayer. I also think that her devotion to off-Broadway theater is a kind of prayer too. She's looked up to by so many artists, both because she is a great artist and also because she's a living example of how to survive as an artist in New York City. There's a big group of us who've worked with her, who've been mentored by her, people she has helped keep the faith in a vocation that is low paid and undervalued. She has shared with us her lifelong love affair with bold experimental theater that usually doesn't become a commercial hit. She's generously given advice about how to navigate and survive off Broadway, especially for those of us who don't come from money. She's given at least one of us a loan when we needed it most. Dee, I love you dearly, and I want to thank you for showing us both on stage and off what it means to be a real artist. Thank you for bringing your miraculous gifts to the New York stages year after year. I cannot wait until I get to sit in a real life theater again, waiting in anticipation for you to enter.
Thank you, Heidi. Please join me in welcoming to the virtual stage Ms. Deirdre O'Connell.
Okay. Okay, that was not fair. Heidi. Oh my God. She is okay. Their names are Frankie and Lily, and they're fine. And they just arrived a few hours ago in the world. Oh, hi, Frankie and Lily. So thank you, Heidi. Jesus, I'm telling you, this whole acting thing is just an exercise, and it's just an excuse to be friends with a person like her. It's just an excuse for friends. It really is. Okay, I am so lucky to be around at this moment in our crazy art form when the challenges are so lush and varied, and the writers and the theater makers are so fearless and curious, and the audiences have such an appetite for the rich and the strange. And unexpectedly, right now, when we literally have nothing to lose, let's take that to heart. And even though I've almost given up a couple of times, I'm so glad that I didn't. And thank you to the Actors Fund for quietly paying my rent one of those times. The Actors Fund, give money to the Actors Fund. And with dignity, too. They paid my rent. Like, I didn't have to feel like a loser for a second. I could not be more grateful for this citation. I truly could not. Thank you, New York drama critics. I hate that we aren't in the same room right now because I would like to kiss every one of you and look you in the eye and grab your hands, because I have been practicing social distancing from you my whole life. It's just the nature of our relationship, and it can't be helped, I guess. Even though we love the same thing and we have given our lives to the same thing, we have to keep this pane of glass between us. For example, I like to warm up before a show in the theater. I like to touch the seats. That's gross, right? I won't get to do that anymore. But during the previews, when the house manager comes in with the little pieces of paper with your names on them, said to save your seats, I scuttle back to the dressing room so I won't know where you're sitting. And when you and I are in a tiny theater together and we're only 3 feet apart and you scribble in your notebooks, I pretend I don't see you. And then but I shake my hand like that in front of in front of my face when I pass a review posted in the lobby, so I won't rest my eye on it. It's all a little paranoid and a little crazy, but it's also pretty healthy, and it's necessary to keep me from losing courage and focus. And then on a closing night, because I have 2 rules for myself when I'm in a show: I don't drink and I don't read the reviews. Closing night inevitably finds me happily or sadly, slightly drunk, and reading all of your reviews at once in one weird sitting, in a weird, guilty gulp. And sometimes I feel hurt and sad, and sometimes I feel found out and unmasked as a fraud, and sometimes I feel deeply seen and regarded and valued, but it's always kind of a weird, guilty gulp. It's a strange, intense, and not exactly functional relationship. And then we come to tonight, and this beautiful gift that you're giving me in this weird, dark, strange, lonely time that we're in together. All of us feeling the loss of this thing that we love so much, that is so ineffable and mysterious and hard to do well and hard to describe well, live theater. And we have in common that we are in the thrall of live theater partly because it can't be repeated and it can't be explained. And my job is to repeat it and your job is to explain it. And we love it all the more because it eludes us. And that is why it can't be replaced. And that is why, in spite of our being a very attractive nuisance, I love that, we're an attractive nuisance, we will come back. And when we do, we'll be back on the two sides of this strange pane of glass. But for tonight, we are together in this beautiful virtual room, and I'm looking each of you in the eye, and I'm grabbing your hands, and I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, that's it.
Oh, thank you so much, Didi. That was really beautiful. Oh, all right. We now are moving on to the first of our awards, and that is the award for Best Musical of the Year. And that award this year is going to Michael R. Jackson for A Strange Loop, his painfully funny and explosively honest meta-musical about queer Black identity and creativity. To present that award, I'm delighted to welcome another of the most exciting new voices in theater today. He made an unforgettable entrance to the New York theater scene just last season at the end of 2018 with the off-Broadway premiere of Slave Play, which then transferred to Broadway this past fall. He is also the author of Daddy, and his personal style puts the world in the shade. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Jeremy O. Harris. Jeremy, I don't think we have sound for you. I think you're still muted.
Hi, sorry. I'm so nervous and so crazy. It's so weird to talk into an empty room. And it made even weirder to be in a time zone so far away from the people that you're talking to and about. But I'm gonna try to make it work. And please accept my apology now for my AirSats teleprompter. I've fashioned one here because I wanted to make sure that the words I said about my favorite musical of not only this year but maybe my lifetime were heard and heard clearly. Michael R. Jackson's A Strange Loop accomplishes the impossible because he gave an usher named Usher his very own musical. He made the invisible visible for all of us. And it's wild, isn't it, that in order for each of us to sit and witness the tale of this usher we had been, this tale of an usher that we were about to witness, we had to be aided to our seats by a small army of ushers whose names we'll probably never commit to memory. The usher at the center of Strange Loop is a part of multiple invisible communities, at least invisible to the bright lights of an off-Broadway musical. He's working class, he's Black, he's gay, he's fat, and he ascribes to the belief espoused by Bell Hooks that Beyonce is a terrorist. I've been a fervent fan of Michael R. Jackson for almost 3.5 years. And it's a friendship that is rare in that its strength has been bound not in our similarities, but in the many exciting and complicated ways that we are different. It's ironic that I've been asked to present this award tonight inside of the New York Drama Critics Circle because much of our relationship has been colored by fierce criticism. Criticism in the classic sense, where Young minds ask hard questions of the world around them and what it has offered them to date. It's one of the reasons why Michael R. Jackson became an artist whose opinion I know not only respect, but I deeply desire. I have spent many late nights texting him or attempting to jump onto an Instagram live with him in order to get his opinions of my work, the work of friends that we've seen, the work of like mentors that we've witnessed in years past, and work that's on television that's as mundane as like The Tiger King. It's also ironic to be praising this musical in a moment when theater can only be experienced digitally. Because for the 3 years I've known of A Strange Loop, the Dropbox that Michael sent me back in 2017 with the demo tracks and script attached have been my favorite musical. I sort of passed it around my friend group like some special gem that could give us some power of enlightenment heretofore unattainable from any other musical that we had at our disposal. Its magic and its majesty can't be contained in any speech that I could give. It is one of the funniest pieces of theater I've ever seen, and one of the most heartbreaking. I don't cry watching musicals. It's something that's only happened one other time watching a musical, and I have probably never cried during a reading of anything. And after the reading of Michael R. Jackson's A Strange Loop that I saw on Lafayette that was presented by Playwrights Horizons and page 73 that I snuck into by begging Adam from Playwrights Horizon to let me tag along, I was a puddle. This person and this body and life and world that was so foreign from me incepted me and possessed me as I sat in a rickety little chair in the middle of a New York University classroom, and I became Usher in the middle of Memory Song, and I was transported back to my own living room in Axton, Virginia, into my own basketball court at Martinsville Middle School, and felt like that little black boy who had turned his back on the Lord and was swept away. So there's 1,000 more things I want to say about Michael, but I'll end by saying that A Strange Loop is not just a musical, and it's also not just a play. It's something that reaches to heights I've only ever witnessed with Adrian Kennedy. I told my friends when I left it that it was like a funny house of a Negro if Kennedy had grown up watching One Life to Live and scrolling the pages of Craigslist Men Seeking Men pages instead of going to the theater late at night to watch O Voyager. So here is the award for Best Musical to Michael R. Jackson, writer of my favorite musical I've probably ever seen.
Thank you, Jeremy. That really means a lot coming from you. I always appreciate your exuberance and your championing of theater, and so I appreciate all the words you have to say. I come to this award like pretty gobsmacked. I mean, this is the first kind of award like this that I've ever won, and it feels like a really, I've been telling people, my experience of this sort of global event that we're all a part of is that I feel like I'm on like an episode of Quantum Leap, and I keep like transporting through all these different dimensions and coming back to theater as home, as a place where I feel where I can really express myself and I can tell stories and I can write songs. And so to be able to be here, albeit virtually with everyone, to accept this award, it's really emotional for me, and it makes me feel like whenever we get to the other side of whatever this is, whatever new ways forward that we find forward, it'll still be home for me. There's so many people that I, owe, having been able to put this show up. Like, the show was like such a village of people. My amazing cast: Antoine Hopper, James Jackson, John Andrew Morris, John Andrew Morrison, John Michael Lyles, Jason Veazey, Larry Owens, my director Stephen Brackett, my choreographer Raja Feather Kelly, my music director Rona Siddiqui, Page 73 and Mike Walkup, Playwrights Horizons, Tim Sanford, Barbara Whitman, Montana Levy Blanco, Cookie Jordan, Alex Hawthorne, Charlie Rosen, Adam Wiggins. Like, I'm forgetting some names, but like, there's just so many people who all, came together to tell this story that was something that was just gestating inside of me, from over 20 years ago, and even beyond and before that, as a Black queer boy, sort of growing up, coming of age, trying to figure out who he was, figure out where he belonged, figuring out how to become an artist, figuring out what kind of artist that was, what kind of like where he belonged. And I never thought that this show would ever end up on any stage, really. It was just a way for me to work through questions that I had about the world. And so the fact that, like, the years went by and I kept writing and I kept collaborating with my collaborators, that it all came to this moment when, like, the show has been so warmly received, and to be received by critics who, I feel as dramatists, as theater artists, like, we're sort of trained to sort of have an aggression toward, or think that they have an aggression toward us. For this award to come from critics means like quite a lot to me, because I myself am a critic. I'm a critic of the world, of the culture, of politics, but I'm also a critic of self. And so it feels both sort of alien, but also sort of perfect that a musical that is inherently about criticism of a certain sense, that it's being narrowed back, that like even receiving this award is kind of a strange loop. And so I just want to, I can't, extend enough thanks to everyone who has helped nurture the show, everyone who's come together to make this event happen online, to Jeremy, to everyone who's just been a part of this, for everything that you've done to help tell the story of A Strange Loop. In a weird way, you all have helped tell the story of A Strange Loop, even beyond its production at Page 73, at Playwrights Horizons, in association with Page 73. And also, I just have to mention Musical Theater Factory, which is where the sort of one of the first development hubs that helped me begin to develop A Strange Loop. I just had so much debt of gratitude to everyone. And I have no doubt that when we find ourselves on the other side of this event, that we are only going to be more together than we were than when we left, that we'll have a greater appreciation for the great privilege that we all have to sit alone in a dark room and tell each other stories and tell each other the truth about what is happening in the world. And I hope that we use this brief intermission, as I've heard some people call it, to reflect on the truths and the truths that we want to tell each other, and the sense of community that we want to engender with each other. So thank you, everyone, again, for this beautiful award, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you, Michael. We are arriving now. We're not done yet, but we are arriving now at the award for Best Play of the season. And that award goes to Will Arbery for Heroes of the Fourth Turning, his group portrait of a reunion of ultra-conservative alumni of a rural college. The play is unsettling, insightful, and soulful at the same time. So who better to introduce this award than our next presenter? He has been unsettling me since the very first time I saw him on stage, which was in the off-Broadway production of Bug by Tracy Letts at the Barrow Street Theater back in 2004. Since then, of course, he has gone on to enormous success on film, and he's earned 2 Academy Award nominations, but he also comes back to the stage on a regular basis, including just this past season opposite Audra McDonald in the Broadway revival of Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune by the late Terrence McNally. His latest film, The Quarry, has just been released on video on demand. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Michael Shannon.
Thank you, Adam, for the introduction. Yeah, I was really tickled to get the opportunity to give Will this award. I have a lot of respect for writers. From time to time, people ask me, "Hey, have you thought about trying to write a play or a script?" And I say, "Hell no, I wouldn't have the slightest idea how to do that." I think writing is the most intimidating and challenging part of this whole process. And I also think that it's hard nowadays to come up with something that hasn't been seen before, that's original, that doesn't feel like a retread of something else. I first became aware of Will's work because I went to do a reading of a play that he had written called Evanston Salt Cost Climbing, which is the most unusual title for a play I think I've ever heard in my life. And I went and I read the play, and it just astonished me with its uniqueness, its originality, its creativity, and its heart. And I asked Will afterwards, "Where on earth did you get the idea for this?" And he said, "Well, it was an assignment. They told us to take a headline from a newspaper and try and fabricate a play out of it. And most people found very exciting headlines like, you know, such and so murdered last night, or this assault, or, you know, whatever." And I just saw this headline that said Evanston Salt Cost Climbing, and I decided I'd write a play about it. And I knew right then and there that this was one of my favorite artists in my general proximity. So then I went to see Heroes of the Fourth Turning, which is also an astonishing play. And going back to what I said earlier, when you think about trying to find something new to write about and a new point to make, I think it's very rare, particularly here in New York City, that you're going to see, like Adam mentioned, this is about some fairly conservative folks who have some fairly conservative ideas. And I think it's pretty rare that you would get the opportunity to meet these people on a stage in New York City. And if you did, by and large, I think, and this is just an assumption on my part, they would not be given the respect and the humanity that Will managed to give them in his play. And I guess in closing, I'd just like to say, considering we're all dealing with a virus right now, I look at Will's writing, both the play I read and the play I saw, in a viral sense, in that they challenge you on a cellular level as you're watching them. They invade you, and they ask you questions and make you think about things that could literally recode, you know, the way that you move through the world. And I think that's about as much as a writer can accomplish. So, and Will's still quite young, and I cannot wait to see what he brings to us for the remainder of his life. So it's my great honor to present the New York Drama Critics Circle Award for Best Play to my friend Will Arbery.
Hey. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
That was very. Okay. Well, thank you so much to the New York Drama Critics Circle for this honor. It was always meant to be an exercise in what's up.
Oh, just the sound was a little off for a while. Maybe this will fix it.
Okay.
Oh, no, it seems fine.
Okay.
Carry on.
This play was always meant to be an exercise in love, which is difficult and thorny and not always pretty. To that end, I want to quote the end of an essay for the play that was written by Playwrights Horizon's dramaturg, the brilliant Ashley Chang, which I think sums it up better than I ever could. It asks whether there can be compassion, but also conviction, recognition, but also rectitude. It asks whether it's possible to look closely and to listen carefully without permanently settling on the shores of a shared humanity. Perhaps it's possible to venture further, beyond the shallows of the shoreline, past the familiarity of fellow feeling, to a place unknown, to a place of intractable values and irreconcilable positions, to a place of democratic confrontation, so fierce, so vibrant, and so full of love as to be almost unthinkable. So to see that work of unthinkable love and confrontation recognized here today is such a gift. But to quote Terrence McNally, no one does it alone, least of all playwrights. So to that end, I need to thank everyone at Playwrights Horizons who took a risk on this play that everyone else thought was too dangerous. Playwrights Horizons is so dedicated to the playwright that it's almost overwhelming. They make a writer unafraid of the sound of their own voice. I owe a debt to Tim Sanford, Adam Greenfield, Ashley Chang, Billy McEntee, Carol Fishman, Leslie Marcus, Kyle Serkis, Carmen Quinones, Elaine Aldoffer, Lisa Donadio, Allison Koch, Blake Zidell, especially Lizzie Stern, and so many more. You all built a home for me and did more for this play than I can ever really know. I want to thank Sam Berkman and Di Glazer and Ava Dickerman and RJ Graham and Lindsay at EST and everyone at Youngblood for nurturing this play early on. And I want to thank my brilliant designers, Isabella Burr, Justin Ellington, Serafina Bush, and Laura Jelinek. What's up? Is it happening again? Okay. And to the crew, including Joan Sergey, Jenny Kennedy, Gigi Buffington, Ryan Kane, and Madeline Freeman. You are an intrepid and fearless crew, and you steadied the ship of my own doubt with your resilience. I want to give the biggest shout out to my cast, Jeb Krieger, Julia McDermott, Michelle Pock, Zoe Winters, and John Strzejeski. I love you all so much, more than anyone. You did the work of fuging into this world and these people, and I know that it was terrifying, and I can never thank you enough. I also know that it was fun as hell, and I miss you, spineless, hedonistic, soulless, bloviating blood bags. That's a quote from the play. They're all angels. And my director, Danya Tamor, there are no words. There's no one better. I love you so much. This wouldn't have happened without you. Thank you for understanding me. I can't wait to do this again and again and again with you. Finally, I would like to thank the world that I came from, that the play is about, for letting me circle back into it and offer it a vision of itself. I want to thank my friend Nathan for granting me such access to his heart and opinions, and especially my parents for their grace and generosity and love throughout this strange process, and for always nudging me towards what my dad calls that terrible beauty which sustains us. Thank you to all of my sisters for showing me 7 distinct paradigms of faith, but most especially to Monica, who, God help her, keeps letting me write about her. This play is dedicated to her, my hero. Thank you again.
Adam, would you unmute yourself, please?
I'm sorry. That was my fault. Before we go on to our last award, I just wanted to say a few words in remembrance and take a toast to our late colleague, Mr. John Simon. John was, as everyone knows, a master of vitriol, and he was most famous for that. But when he loved a show, he really did love it, and boy, could he write. English was not his first language, and he used it with a sense of mastery and wonder that few native speakers of English can command. John was controversial from the beginning. He was rejected from membership in the Circle in 1969 when he first became eligible, when he joined the staff of New York Magazine. But the critics relented the next year, and he joined the Circle in 1970, where he remained for the next 49 years, right up into his death in November at the age of 94. He was still, right up to the end, going to the theater regularly, sharing his opinions of it wherever he could. It is a record of longevity that is almost certain never to be broken. So here's to you, John. I hope you are somewhere looking down on all of us. And now, for our final award of the night. Our final award of the night is a special citation to the New York theater community as a whole for its perseverance in the face of loss during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here to accept that award on behalf of the community is one of Broadway's greatest leading men. He is also a mensch and a half and the current chairman of the Actors Fund. It is my honor to welcome to virtual stage Mr. Brian Stokes Mitchell.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
Hold on. Here we go. There's always something.
There's always something.
Here we go. Can you hear me?
There you are.
Can you hear me all right?
Hi, Stokes.
Hey,
Yes,
Adam.
we can hear you.
Okay, it's good. I am so honored to be here. Thank you, Adam, so much. This year's New York Drama Critics Circle is honoring the entire theater community with this citation for the perseverance in the face of loss due to the COVID pandemic. I'm really, really honored that I have been asked to accept this on behalf of the community, our community, that I love so much and that has given me so much as a performer and an audience member. The collective heart of our entire community, I know, goes out to everyone who has had a show running or a show about to open, especially. That's heartbreaking. And to everybody, I mean, cast, crew, musicians, producers, directors, choreographers, stage, company management, theater owners, everyone involved. A Broadway show is an amazing occasion to celebrate, and to have that cut short or not allowed to happen at all is earth-shattering to so many lives on so many levels. This too shall pass. We don't know when or how yet, and that's what makes it so hard. But please know that this too shall pass. I realize that I'm accepting the citation for the theater community, but I'd like to take a moment to talk about the art community in general, just arts in general. And by the way, it seems like a terrible time to be an artist, given what we're going through. But I also think this is a really spectacular time to be an artist. And I think that nothing represents the arts better than theater and film. You have actors, singers, dancers, writers, directors, choreographers, designers, scenic painters, costume makers, lighting and sound operators, grips, gaffers, editors, all working together to create something miraculous. I think that our superpower, what we do best in theater, film, television, is, as David Byrne said, collaboration. Dozens and sometimes hundreds of people from different walks of life with different training, different skills, different backgrounds, different political parties, all working together toward a common goal, saying yes and making something miraculous together. Washington, D.C., take note, by the way. People are hungry for the work of artists right now. What are most of us doing with our time? We are binge watching Ozark or The Crown or Mrs. Maisel or Stars in the House, watching all of the work of all of those artists, not just the actors, but the crew, the writers, the directors, everybody. The irony is that for most of us, the means of expression for our art have been shut down. Broadway, opera, concerts, and even television and film. But the cool thing is, even that has not stopped us. We do what we do because we are compelled to do it. It is what we do. It is who we are. And artists have been stepping forward to help all kinds of organizations right now. BCEFA, the Actors Fund, artists striving to end poverty with shows like Stars in the House, hosted by Seth and James, Rosie O'Donnell's One Night Only Return, musical director Jason Howland, who created an incredible arrangement, if you haven't seen it, of You've Got a Friend, that the members of the various companies of Beautiful performed, along with Carole King. Disney Salute to Broadway Cares, Emily Hampshire's Hump Day with Hampshire. The lists and the creativity continues to grow. And I think that I can speak for all of the organizations who are benefiting from that creativity and generosity by saying thank you to all of you for your continued amazing work. as a performer, I'm sure I am not alone when I say that there have been certain times and performances that I have done when I have felt that I think this is one of the reasons that I am on the planet right now. Ragtime was one of those occasions, and there have been others as well. I would venture to guess that nearly every artist has had a moment or two or three like that. Oddly enough, this terrible pandemic, and by the way, if I could think of something that would be the opposite of a Broadway musical, it would be this pandemic. This pandemic also makes me feel like, you know, I think maybe this is one of the other reasons that I'm on the planet right now. And I think the same about the Actors Fund, the organization that I've been privileged to be the chairman of the board now for 15 years. It feels like our last 138 years have been feeling like a marvelous rehearsal for this opportunity to connect and help thousands in the entertainment community. Deirdre O'Connell, by the way, thank you so much for your beautiful shout out to the Actors Fund. We especially appreciate all the support and contributions now. Normally in a year, we would give out $2 to $2.5 million. And at this point already, we have given away in financial emergency assistance to people more than $7.5 million. So all of those donations that you are sending in and all of the work and volunteer performances that you're doing are particularly appreciated. I also, if I can wax philosophical for just a little bit more, I also think that perhaps this pandemic that we are all in the midst of, this nightmare, maybe is the reason that each of us is on the planet right now. We each have an incredible opportunity to be a part of the solution. And I am so proud of our community and how we have stepped forward with art and love and generosity and that miracle of collaboration. I hope that we all are able to get through this challenge quickly and with minimal damage. There are more questions than there are answers. And as time goes, hopefully we'll have more and more answers. Until that time, I hope that everybody stays safe. I hope that everybody stays well. And just know that, like when we're doing a show, we will get through this together. Blessings to everybody. And thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Stokes. I can't think of a more graceful benediction to end this night. These things always make me a little emotional, and I didn't know how this was going to go tonight, but I'm so happy that I feel like it did capture some of the spirit of what it's like to be in the real room every year with these people. Please do, if you can afford it, please do give to the Actors Fund or to other charities or other theater groups that are, or arts groups or anyone who is helping people get through this crisis. As for tonight, I want to thank all of our presenters. I want to thank our sainted press rep, Don Suma, and all of the press reps and assistants who have made this possible. I want to thank all my fellow critics, some of whom could not watch all of this live today because they are busy reviewing the new Richard Nelson play that debuted tonight at the Public Theater, so you can go and watch that. I want to thank Seth Rudetsky and James Wesley of Stars in the House for their amazing marathon work, and to David Katz and Blake Ross, who have been working behind the scenes to make this happen. And I want to thank all of you for watching tonight. I miss watching things. I miss watching things with people. I miss audiences. And I hope that sometime very soon, we can all be together in the dark. Congratulations to all of today's honorees. Thank you all for watching, and good night.